So here we are, guys, in game number 1 of the next series. Sitaux versus MBL versus TheViper. Still stuck in the previous series, sorry. Sitaux versus TheViper. They're going to be playing the blue and yellow color respectively. Once again, I'm just going to leave the players' original colors over here, so long as it makes some sort of sense. So long as we don't have something like blue and green, which is what we had in the previous series and I had to change. But blue and yellow should be contrasty enough, you know, for the players to distinguish their units and for us to distinguish the player units. Even if it's not the best contrast in the minimap over here, yellow on beige, still I'm just going to opt to leave the default colors on, and then if anybody has any issues, then we can potentially change it, but we are going to do it on a request basis. Regardless though, Sitaux playing with the Malians, he's going to get a civilization with a 50% wood discount on all buildings. Besides that, the Malians will get 1 extra pierce armor on barracks units per age for free, starting in the field age, and that is without taking into account the blacksmith upgrade, so he can go up to +7 in the imperial age for pierce armor. On top of that, the Malians will also get 30% longer lasting golds, and for the team bonus, they get 80% faster working universities. I have a feeling though that I might be forgetting something over here, that the Malians get changed and added 1 bonus, and I'm not mentioning it. No, I'm not really sure why I had that feeling, but no, I'm just checking the tech tree right now, and it seems like that's not the case, so I recall correctly. For the Viper civilization, on the other hand, we know the Portuguese are going to be pretty much the same they always were, with the addition now of the 25% wood income from berries, right? So that's good. For the rest, is going to be the same: 10% extra HP on Navy units, 20% gold discount on military production, or all unit production actually. And in addition to that, we also have for the Portuguese access to Factory in the Imperial Age, as well as for the team bonus 30% faster research and upgrades. And that's gonna be about it. Does your mistake mean that I get to continue right on Mabel throughout these games? Well, you can write whatever you want, so long as it doesn't infringe Twitch's policies, I guess. And thank you for the follows today, guys. I hope you're having a good time. I hope you are enjoying and looking forward to these games. Let me just update the stream title though. There we are. Let's check where the TCs are, what resources are available nearby. Starting with the blue player as usual, Mr. Sitaux. Well, he's got the gold over here very close to the TC, but up to the north, so it's going to be kind of exposed a little bit. It seems like it's about the only gold. This could be really good if the Viper realizes about this. Like the yellow player could potentially go at some point, especially with a hill over here. We could see the yellow player. Okay, what's going on? Why is the tower not showing up? Okay, there we go. That is not good. We are having some sort of issue with the annotations, but there we go. If the Viper recognized this being the only gold available to Sitaux and went for a tower over there, he would be able to deny it for sure. Besides that, we have 3 woodlands over here for Sitaux to work with. One right next to the TC, another one very close to the TC, another one very close to the TC as well. And then there is some extra hunting on the left-hand side, down south as well. We're gonna see extra hunting on the right-hand side too. If you can push these or go and mill these, that could be a very reliable source of food. But then the stone is going to be forward as well, very far away. This is not good. This stone on the left-hand side is a little bit better in the sense that it's not quite as exposed, not quite as forward, right? But these 2 resources are not great. If the Viper recognized the situation, he could definitely punish the bull player. Meanwhile, taking a look at the map generation for Mr. Viper, we'll see that he's got 1 gold on the back, and that's a beautiful one. He's got 1 stone towards the northwest. And these are going to be similarly for the Viper, the only resources available for him in regards to minerals. We do have another stone over here, far towards the southeast, but that is extremely far away. However, this gold for the Viper and the stone, these are not anywhere near as exposed as the resources from Sitaux are. So if the Viper were to eventually go for some walls from here to here, here towards the edge of the map, and just enclose himself either like this or like this, he will be able to secure the gold for sure, the stone over here for sure, and this stone, it really depends on how he goes about the walls on the right hand side, right? Ideally, he would want to go for the walls like I was suggesting over here towards the water, and not like this, so that he would also be able to secure a woodland over here, right? That's the one thing that Sitaux does have available that the Viper not as much. Village is gonna be here for Sitaux already. He's all the way up in the north with his dock. He's got a second dock coming up on the right hand side. Actually, a third dock. He already has a second dock up. And the Viper's got 2 docks, but he's only now going up to the fuel age. And the Viper, interestingly enough, is going up on 26 population compared to a 24 from Sitaux. So he's gonna be there significantly later. He's gotten a lot of idle TC time as well, so he should be going up on 3 extra villages actually, but it's not been the case. And this is good for Sitaux. He's got the fire galley on the way already, and he is aware of the fishing ships from the Viper, even if he's not aware of that dock location. But now he knows, and he knows about this one as well, so he knows the Viper is going to be completely cornered. And the old player is not in a good position on water, so now the question remains, will he try to make this one work on land then? Let's take a look at what sort of what sort of vision he's got. He knows, he's got a general idea of where Sitaux is because he's lost one of the sheep or one of the goats over here to the unit. So he knows that Sitaux's got to be somewhere around here, but he doesn't know where the gold is, where the stone is. He doesn't know that those are the only resources available to Sitaux, so won't be able to take advantage of that. They say in Age of Empires the most important resource is information. And the Viper doesn't have enough, in my opinion. Sitaux? Sitaux's got 3 fire galleys and he's got 2 more queued up. The Viper is on 0 fire galleys and he's going for the first 2, so he gets these out. So long as Sitaux plays his cards right, he should be in a good spot. And notice how the Viper is trying to make use of the fishing ship to tank fire from the fire galley from Sitaux, and that's gonna allow him to get a little bit of a better trade. Now Sitaux's gotta get out of here. But still though, the bull player does have extra units the Viper's gonna need. What is that? The Viper's... what was he fighting the boar? That must have been a misclick. Let's actually go back and take a look at that for a moment. Check this out. The Viper misclicks the boar, and the boar comes over and actually takes the fire galley down. Oh my lord, guy OP? Certainly. There we go. So does it sound like a repeat of every streamer ever, but this is a map win for the Viper? Yeah, the map generation was good, but Sitaux's position right now is much better compared to the Viper. The Viper is going to be on his way to the Castle Age, and Sitaux is going to be on his way to the Castle Age very soon, but he should be left on a much stronger economy because of the fishing ships, because of his water control. So it's not the best position for the SNEK. If you're rooting for him, this is probably not what you were expecting to see at this point. No extra navy units coming out from the Viper, is just going to give up on water and try to make a play for full land. And what does he have to play with over here? I don't see stables, I don't see archer ranges, and there's a reason for that. I don't see a barracks. And the Viper seems to be struggling this game as well, paying attention to things. He forgot about the villager he sent over to collect the boar. Now he realizes. Was trying to get some scouting information on the left hand side. Oh, a villager. Okay, it's gonna get a dock up. That could be good. The Viper might be able to get some damage done. The thing is, even if Sitaux were to lose all the fishing ships by the time the Viper gets to the castle age and gets fire ships, assuming that he goes for the war galley upgrade first, or even if he just goes for standard fire galleys, or if he goes for demos, for instance. Yeah, he knows about the dock, right? And now Sitaux knows about this. Let's say the Viper went for demos and he was able to clean up all the fishing ships that Sitaux got to work with over here. That seems very unlikely, as Sitaux has realized about the dock over here from the Viper and is already getting a fire galley himself out. But even if the Viper managed to get all the fishing ships down over here, I would say that this has already paid off for Sitaux big time. So it doesn't seem to me like it's going to matter too much. Still on the way for Sitaux. The Viper? Yeah, not so much once again. Seems like he's gonna try and make a play for organ guns instead. He's got stone miners. Yeah, and the Viper gets pushed away. He's got one fire galley garrison over there. He's got a second one on the way. Meanwhile, we have the third fire galley from Sitaux. It'll be great for the blue player to bring the rest of the units over from the right hand side, and he's doing so. He's got another dock on the way on the left hand side. And he's doing so as well. And I guess the only reason why the Viper is going to keep on trying to go for this over here is because of the extra HP that he's got. His units are significantly stronger, right? A little bit higher HP compared to Sitaux. So if he plays his cards right, he might actually be able to get something done. However, Sitaux is coming out on top over here once again. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the Viper is even going to be able to get a single fire over there. Just one fishing ship instead. Very soon the Viper will finally be able to go for a castle drop. Now, where is that going to be though? Because he doesn't really have scouted information around Sitaux's base once again. Quick walls coming in for the Viper as Sitaux bringing the knight over. The Viper gets the conversion though, and that is such a lucky conversion for the Viper as the knight was about to get beyond the range of the monk. The monk lands the conversion in the end. Yeah, now the yellow player, he cannot really make a play for water anymore. Still, Sitaux on a much higher work count, so he's looking great. He's got a second TC on the way. Third TC on the way. The Viper, he's got the castle coming up as a defensive one, though. No aggressive castle drops over here from the yellow player whatsoever. Just collecting some of the relics. Yeah, and Sitaux gonna go for stone walls. He's gonna try to wall the SNEK in. Ørjan guns in the way for the Viper. It's taking forever though. Oh man, this is so slow for the yellow player. He keeps on trying. But the chances for the Viper to come out on top this game, in my opinion, are extremely low right now. So long as Sitaux plays his cards right and doesn't throw the game, you should pretty much have this one in the bag if you ask me. Walling the SNEK in. He was trying to, but in the end, he's going to go for the walls a little bit farther back. And here come the Ørjan guns though from the Viper. Sitaux is going to react to that by going for a defensive siege workshop. If he gets a manual up over here, that's going to be great. The Viper, however, with the Portuguese, will have access to redemption, so he could try and make a play for siege conversion. The conversion's coming up. Sitaux starting to lose some villagers. There you go. The tower does come up though. Beautiful. Nice village picks over here, Sitaux. Only on 7 extra workers compared to the Viper. He does have 2 additional TC, so he should be able to keep on building on his lead. The Viper has been getting a lot of villagers down. For the most part, he's lost fishing ships himself only. But Sitaux shouldn't struggle too much to catch up and potentially surpass the Viper in villager count once again because of the extra TCs. The Viper does have the second TC, but no third TC on site for the Viper, while Sitaux is already up. Unit control is going to be absolutely instrumental. That is a good mango shot, but he did end up getting chunked for a lot of HP over here. He needs to go back. Here we go. Here comes Sitaux. 3 mangonels. He's about to lose the siege workshop though. He's gonna need another one. You know, the Portuguese and the Malians, if I'm not mistaken, they get the exact same monastery. Both get all the upgrades except for heresy. Those are some good mango shots. Now we have guard tower up for Mr. Sitaux. The Ørjan guns are getting masked. Not so much anymore. Not so much anymore. A bunch of these went down. Now the guard towers over here are going to be significantly stronger as well. However, the Viper is starting to catch up though. He did go for the 3rd TC, and not only that, the 4th TC is already up now for the yellow player too. That is really good. Sitaux on the other hand, stuck to 3 TCs only, but he's barely holding on to a villager lead over here anymore. And the Viper is starting to catch up really nicely over here. You gotta admit, the game was looking very much over for the SNEK just a few minutes ago, but he was able to bring this one back, and the Ørjan guns are so good. His unit control has been so great. And it's been rough. It's been rough for Sitaux. Absolutely. Guess on the way for Sitaux, beautiful. This should put a stop to Viper's push though. Yeah, nice conversions coming up. In the end, it's not going to matter too much. The Viper, as he realizes he won't be able to push through the right-hand side just because of the towers over here, not even because of the castle. He's gonna send the Ørjan guns over the left-hand side. He's got some villagers coming over as well. Monks. And Sitaux will have enough resources to go for yet another defensive castle on the left-hand side, but the Viper's caught up in villager count. He surpassed Sitaux in villager count. He's gonna be the first player to go up to the Imperial Age. And Sitaux is losing grip of this game as he was looking so much better before. Kind of dropped the ball over there a little bit. And the Viper's done such a good job at coming back into this one. I would see guard towers on the way for Sitaux. He's got 2 over here. Realize the body Ørjan gun's coming up. He doesn't want to risk trying to get a castle up and not being able to finish it, so he goes for guard towers instead. But very soon should be able to still get the castle up in any case. But the Viper, once he gets to the Imperial Age, then he will get access to trebuchets. He's got 2 castles over here, so he should be able to double produce them. Should be able to come in, should be able to take the castle down, the towers down as well. Because he's got the Ørjan guns on the left-hand side, though, he won't really be able to protect trebuchets if he goes for push on the right-hand side, so he's gonna need something else. He's gonna need to either push from the left, so send the trebuchets around the lake, which is not as efficient, or go for a few extra organ guns on the right-hand side, so he's got something to protect the trebuchets with. And it seems like it's going to be the organ gun way on the right-hand side. Here we go. Barely just on the way now for Sitaux finally, but the Viper's gonna be there in 5 seconds. See Trick Shop on the way for the Viper as well. And he's got him there. He's got now war galleys coming out of the center. This could be really good, of course, because it's so close to the fortifications from Sitaux. If the Viper is the one to get control of the center league, then he could make a play for Cannon Galleon, and he actually wouldn't really need the trebuchets, right? Which is why I imagine he's not... Okay, he's going for the trebuchets now, but he's got also chemistry on the way. I thought that was going to be for Cannon Galleon or Bombard Cannons. Especially with the Portuguese, those units are extremely strong once you research Arquebus, for instance. But yeah, once again, map generation is going to start having an impact on Sitaux's economy very soon. We saw from earlier that there was only 1 gold available for the blue player, and because the Viper is cornering Sitaux, as he's gonna start putting pressure from the right hand side with the organ guns, and the trebuchet is gonna keep on putting pressure on the left hand side with the organ guns, Sitaux does not have control of any other areas of the map. So once this gold runs out, and there's only 2,000 gold left over there, not a lot, the Viper is gonna be the only player with access to gold units. Heavy Demolition Ship is here for the Viper as well. We'll see some of those units pop out and hopefully allow him to keep control of the center lake, although I don't think he's got currently control. Let's see if he can get control of the center in any case. And one of the trebuchets is going down no matter what. The second trebuchet could potentially go down. Sitaux just tries to focus fire on this one. He might have been able to get it down before all the fire ships had gone down, but now he's going to bail. Yeah, defensive siege workshop coming in for Sitaux. He's not really expanded too much. This seems to be one of the mistakes from Sitaux in this game. When he was in a much better position, on a higher score, and a higher population, and he was looking so good, he failed to expand around the map. While the Viper, on the other hand, is in a much better position. If you take a look, the yellow players get access to this gold, but then because he's the only player with presence around the map, he could potentially be the only player with access to this one, or this one even. Well, Sitaux is just going to be confined to this one over here. The castle crumbles from Sitaux. The Viper is looking absolutely amazing. He's got now game number 1 as Sitaux calls a GG. The Viper puts himself on the lead, and we'll see what we get for game number 2. But for game number 1, let's go through the achievements and the civilizations. We'll see for military a better KD for the Viper. For economy, stronger economy for the Viper as well, collecting about 5,000 extra resources, which is just amazing. If you take a look at this, for the most part in the early stages of the game, Sitaux was in a much better position for resources collected, for society. Sitaux was so far ahead for such a long time as well, but he gave the Viper plenty of time to catch back up, and the yellow player is certainly going to take any possibility to come back into the game that he gets. He's going to take any chances he gets and make the most out of it. And we know this. Sitaux probably underestimated the SNEK a little bit. And welcome everyone then to game number 2 in the series. Viper is playing with Tatars. The map is going to be in question Acropolis. Sitaux, on the other hand, he's playing with the Chinese towards the east of the map. So yeah, let's go through the civilizations, starting with the blue player first. Sitaux Playing with the Chinese, we'll begin with 3 extra villages at the expense of 200 food and 50 wood at the beginning of the game. We'll see for the Chinese over here also 5 extra line of sight from the TCs and 5 higher population support per TCs. Besides that, we'll see for Sitaux civilization 10, 15 and 20% cheaper upgrades in the feudal castle and imperial ages. While for the team bonus, they are going to get 10% extra food on farms for free. On the left-hand side, the Viper playing with Tatars instead will get free Thumbring, free Parthian Tactics. We have in addition to that, for the Tatars, 25% higher attack against enemy units when fighting from a higher elevation. He's gonna have also 50% extra food from Hurlables, as well as 2 additional sheep spawning underneath each newly built TC starting in the castle age. Well, for the team bonus, Tatars also have 2 extra line of sight on cavalry archer type units. Anyway, there isn't really too much to map generation for the most part. But we can take a look at it anyway. Yeah, we are going to have the main goal on the right hand side towards the south. Secondary gold up in the north. And then for stone, we have a stone on the right hand side, on the left hand side as well. These are going to be particularly far away from the TC. The golds on the other hand are a little bit closer, but still not super safe, right? He does have 2 wood lines down the south to potentially go and collect from. He's already made way for one of the wood lines. And there's another one on the right hand side. There is technically another one on the left hand side, but this is not going to be the best, I would say. On the left hand side, the Viper, he's going to have instead the main goal on the right hand side, and it's going to be somewhat comparable as well. Secondary goal on the left hand side, and the stones are going to be a little bit farther away. It seems a little bit better for this stone for the Viper compared to Sitaux, but it's going to be peanuts. In the end, it's unlikely the players will really be able to wall themselves fully over here. Instead, we are most likely than not going to see the players go for local walls around resources like this, around the wool lines like this, right? As opposed to going for a full map wall. I gotta say though, I am liking Sitaux's wood line availability in the valley over here a little bit better compared to Vipers. For sure. Village on the way now for Sitaux. Village on the way now for the Viper. And not too much. Let's take a look at over here until the players get to produce some military units. I would say I am liking Sitaux's civilization over here better. The Chinese are extremely versatile. And Tatars, on the other hand, Tatars are going to be pretty reliant on a handful of units over here. It's going to be a much more specialized civilization, so to say. So Sitaux, in my opinion, does have a civilization that shouldn't straight out die against the Vipers, for instance. And the Viper doesn't really have a civilization that's going to straight out die against the Chinese necessarily as well. I think the difference over here between the civs, or I would say the matchup over here in this game, is not going to be one-sided enough for anybody to really claim a save win, right? I think it's going to be mostly about gameplay and strategizing and execution. I was thinking the Tatars are so one-dimensional. Well, compared to the Chinese, they are certainly going to be a lot less versatile. You need to make a play either for Step Lancers or Cavalry Archers. You can make a play for Knights and Camels as well, but it's not going to be the best. And the infantry, of course, you can forget about it. In the field age, of course, scouts will be viable and will be quite useful, actually, if you go for scouts. Getting some upgrades for those units, namely Bloodlines, is going to translate pretty nicely into Cavalry Archers. So Sitaux's got his own scouts on the way. He's got the stable already up and the second scout out. Meanwhile, the Viper's taking a little bit longer to get to the field age, so he will take a little bit longer to get the scouts out over here. Unit control is going to be absolutely instrumental, especially in the earlier stages. You don't want to take an engagement when you are facing 3 scouts with only 2 scouts. It's going to be too tough. If you're able to mass a good amount of scouts so that there is only a 1 scout difference in an engagement of 4v5, for instance, or 5v6, that's going to make it a lot more likely for you to come out on top with some good unit control. Sitaux is already putting pressure. He's got the 4th scout on the way. The Viper's on 3 scouts right now. He's got the 4th. Because of the defender's advantage, he should be able to somewhat hold on, right? He's got 4 scouts now. Sitaux. He's not going for a 5th one. He's going to stick to 4 scouts. He's going for Spearman instead, and so is the Viper. Yellow player starts going for some extra scouts himself, Sitaux. Not so much. Not so much. And take a look at the walls that Sitaux is going for. Damn! He's trying to defend the woodlands over here. Now, obviously, the slope, the rocky slope over here is not that good for walling because you cannot build on top of it. So he will have to go for walls behind the woodlands anyway. And it just makes it seem to me like he won't really be able to make use of these walls whatsoever. Unless he manages to connect the walls all the way to the northwest edge of the map, perhaps. Here we are. 1 for 1. First blood comes in from both these players. And Sitaux's going to respect the hill over there. The Viper's bringing the Spearman forward himself as well. He's aware of Sitaux's own Spearman. Yeah. And now Sitaux's going to respect the numbers. So he gets pushed away. And the game's going to stabilize. Sitaux does have Bloodlines on the way. The Viper is not going for any scout upgrades yet. Once again, Bloodline is something that would benefit him, not only for scouts and potentially knights or camels, but for cavalry archers could be really good as well. And Sitaux, on the other hand, being the first player to go for Bloodlines, he has gone for a few extra scouts. He doesn't have scale Barden armor yet, but he just finished building the blacksmith, so he's going to have 14 on the way first. He's going up against the Spearman teams. And the Viper's got Fletching! He's got archers on the way now, but he needs something for right now. I don't think Fletching was the right priority over here for the yellow player. Well, I guess it's going to allow him to take the Spearman down easily with the archers, but he's got only 2 over here, so if the engagements take place, I think Sitaux comes out on top over here. For sure, right? Forging certainly makes a big difference. The Viper's going to realize about this, I think, but it doesn't matter now. Sitaux's trying to get this round going over here. If he doesn't manage to, he should still be able to shed a lot of HP off the units from the Viper, and he's going to do so, and the scouts from the Viper are getting completely wiped out. It's not even close. The Spearmen are going down, and the archers are getting cleaned up. In that engagement right there, was extremely one-sided in favor of Sitaux, and it was not good for the Viper to speak of. The upgrades were better for Sitaux. The order of the upgrades were better for Sitaux. He's finished researching scale bar than armor now. And the Viper, he does have a little bit of extra resources compared to Sitaux in the sense that he's gonna be able to click out to the castle age earlier most likely, but he's got, yeah, a lot to catch up for, a lot to offset for. Sitau's KD is much better. Viper, if he's sticking to only archers, Spearman shouldn't be enough against the scouts with forging and scale bar than armor and bloodlines from Sitaux. But still, there we are. There we are. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Sitau's food economy is stronger, so he does manage to collect the rest of the resources he needed to go up to the castle age faster compared to the Viper. And the Viper's got the lumberjacks on the back over here. In the end, he did not go for any of the 4 woodlines. This is beautiful for the Viper. Something that I didn't realize up until now, that Sitaux doesn't really have as a choice, right? This is one of those instances where the map generation, of course the Viper's going to get a good map generation, right? But it's one of those instances where map generation is a little bit unfair. And if Sitaux had a back woodline like this, he would certainly have taken advantage of it as well himself. Castle Age will be close indeed. We'll see that there is only a 17-second lead for Sitaux to the Castle Age. So it's not too significant, but he is going for double stable scalp production. So it seems like we're going to see light cavalry, and he's going for a 3rd stable. He's going to go for full knight. Once he gets to the castle age, or is it going to be full camels? The Viper does have access to camels himself. But he's got only 1 stable, and if Sitaux is aware of that, he could actually make a play for triple stable knight production, right? And just completely disregard the possibility for camels from the Viper simply by the fact that the yellow player is going to have 1/3 the production potential compared to Sitaux. Yeah, this could be really good. So they're just here. For Sitaux, got the second TC on the way to secure the lumberjacks. Love it. Guess they're just here for the Viper. He's going for a TC immediately as well to secure the lumberjacks as well. Oh yeah, light cavalry is 100% worth it here. He's got 16 scouts, so he's going for it. And from that point onwards, it's going to be knights, right? So he's got husbandry, light cavalry, chain bar than armor, and from the remaining stable that is not working right now, he's going to go for knights. And here we go, the spearmen get completely wiped out. 2 light cavalry do go down in the end, and the Viper's gonna try to get a 3rd TC up. The quick walls will be good for the yellow player, so he will get the 3rd TC up most likely, but that is a lot of damage, guys. The Viper cannot really garrison all his villagers over here. The TC is over the statue it is, so the villagers are going down, and the light cavalry over there are getting a lot of damage and heaps of damage over here from Sitaux. Will put him on a 12 villager lead against the Viper. Well, still holding on to 5 extremely deadly light cavalry. Make that actually more than 5 as he's got a few extra around in the Viper. The Viper's got some crossbows to work with. Remember that they get thumbering for free, the Tatters. So these crossbows are pretty deadly as well, but he needs to get ballistics, ideally, and yeah, he needs more numbers because knights from Sitaux from triple stable production will not really allow for the Viper to roam around freely. Yeah, there we go. Ideally, Sitaux will want to get a 3rd TC up around here as well. He doesn't really have the resources for it right now in the Viper. The Viper is going to get cleaned up over here, so I would imagine it's probably better for him to try and take villagers down, perhaps. Well, it's too late now. It seems that the knights are cleaning out the archers. Well, we have a lot of archers left and only 2 knights. So the archers will still come out on top, but they will not be left on a ton of HP. Yeah, there we are. And we have a Scorpion coming out from Sitaux. That should take care of the rest of the units. Given the tech switch, this is so worth it. The light cavalry are essentially just cannon fodder at the moment. Wiping the spears and adding all that economy plus the villager kills. Will worth it? Yes. Fantastic. Sitaux is looking really good in game number 2. To be fair, he was looking very good in game number 1 and the Viper was still able to come back, so we shouldn't be ruling out the Viper in this position anyway. But I would say though, same way as in game number 1, the game was mostly on the hands of Sitaux over here, what he wanted to do with his advantage, right? Game number 2 is going to be pretty similar as well. If he stops putting pressure up over here, he does have 2 TCs only compared to Viper's 3, so Viper would eventually catch up in work count. And if Sitaux tries to go for a 3rd TC or a 4th TC right now and play greedily, of course, the Viper could very well get a lead in the later stages of the game instead, and we'll see. Crosso still roaming around from the Viper. Scouts roaming around from Sitaux. Fantastic. Yeah, I like the Sitaux still trying to get some damage done with however many units he's got left, so he doesn't have to get a few villages down from the Viper. Still, we need a 3rd TC for Sitaux. The Viper is going finally for a university to get ballistics, and his crossbows, yeah, they are no more. I think he lost them to the Knights, right? Yeah, he lost them to the Knights up in the north, and Sitaux still has a good amount of units. There we go, the 3rd TC is finally on the way for Sitaux. The location of this one, I'm probably not the biggest fan of it. I probably would have liked it next to this wood line, or maybe a little bit further forward to try and expand this economy a little bit. Getting the TC up around here, for instance, would have allowed them to secure the wood and the gold. But it is what it is. Oh, it's open! The Viper's open. He does manage to trap the Knights over here, but he will still end up losing a few villages for sure. As many of the villages over here are completely exposed. It's only a matter of time until Sitaux realizes. Now he does, but it's too late. He will bail out of here though, but he might get one villager. Yeah, that shouldn't have happened probably. The Viper already had enough space to garrison a few extra units over there. Regardless though, it's not the only push from Sitaux. He's got the rest of the Knights roaming around down south over here, trying to get some damage done. And I like it that he's sacrificing one Knight over here just to keep Viper's TC idle for a little bit longer. And you can see that because of that, and because the Viper's got to pay attention to his economy over here on top of the Acropolis, he took a little bit longer to clear out the TC once again. And those are the little things, right? The little things that really separate the very, very top players from everybody else. The big brain plays over there. The move from Sitaux of just keeping one Knight over here while he was putting pressure elsewhere and idling Viper's economy that much more allows him to not only hold on to his lead but extend onto it, extend upon it, and he's got camels coming out right now in addition to the Knights, which will be absolutely deadly against cavalry archers, assuming that we do have a good amount of Knights as a meat shield, but it's not the best unit control for Sitaux. He's gotta bail. He needs to wait for more numbers. There we are. Yeah, Sitau's trying to mass the units up right now. He's got an economy that's strong enough for him to keep all 3 TCs working while still going for triple stable production, so it's good. And the Viper, on the other hand, he's in a similar position where he's got a strong enough economy too. That is a nice mango shot. Where, yeah, he's got a strong enough economy to keep all 3 TCs working while going for a substantial amount to cover the archers. Now, he cannot sustain production from all 3 archer ranges, the same way that Sitaux cannot always sustain production from all 3 stables, sorry. But it seems to me like Sitaux's decision over here is going to be deliberate. It seems to me like he's just saving the resources to go up to the Imperial Age, as opposed to not having a strong enough economy to produce the units. He's just saving the resources, and he's going to be off to the Imperial Age very soon. The Viper, not so much. Not so much. So this seems a lot better for Sitaux compared to game number 1. He has been able to take advantage of his lead. He's been able to shut the Viper down. And once he gets to the Imperial Age and we get access to Cavalier, then Viper's units will not be strong enough anymore. The question then becomes, when will the Viper be able to go up to the Imperial Age himself? Well, right now, he doesn't have a strong enough economy. That's for sure. 34 farmers. 10 gold miners. If he wants to keep on going for more cavalry archers, there is no way he'll be able to keep on 7 resources to go up to the Imperial Age. So it's just going to be CA production for the Viper. If he ever hopes to save enough resources to go up to the Imperial Age, the cavalry archer numbers he's going to have to work with. By the time Sitaux gets access to Cavalier, is not going to be enough for him to defend himself. Sitaux, on a much stronger population right now, halfway through to the Imperial Age already in the Viper. The Viper, not so much, guys. Not so much. And once again, thank you for the follows today, guys. Hope you're enjoying. Shout out to T90 and his team, of course, for making the tournament happen. There we are. Imperial Age is on the way for the Viper. Once again, 18 cavalry archers. That is not a lot, Sitaux. He's going for plate barden armor. And he's going for Cavalier right now. He needs to ramp production as much as humanly possible, Sitaux that is. And punish the Viper while he still has the lead of being in the Imperial Age earlier. Ideally, he would want to go for an extra stable as well and just try to absolutely spam the crap out of those. And he actually has gone for 2 additional stables down south, so he's got 5 stables right now in the Viper. The Viper's gonna defend himself with some castles here. And while Sitaux does not have a castle, he's got 7 stone miners, so he'll be able to go for his own castles very soon. With the Chinese not getting access to bombard cannons, weirdly enough, he will be relying on the castle to get trebuchets out, but it seems like the Viper's gonna get to the Imperial Age before Sitaux will get a castle up, so the Viper's gonna have a head start to trebuchet production. I don't think he's gonna go for it though, of course. That would only be something that would make sense for the Viper if he were the one putting pressure. But anyway. Sitaux's gonna have his own castle coming out very soon, and he's spreading his army up into smaller groups. He's getting some raids going already, and that's very effective on the right hand side. He's gonna do the same thing of just leaving a few units underneath the TC just so that it stays idle for a little bit longer. And like that, he's saddling a lot of Viper's economy. He had the TCs. Keeping the villagers idle for a very long time, and Sitaux still very much on top, still very much ahead. But now that the Viper has gotten to the Imperial Age and we are transitioning into the latest stages of the game, Sitaux needs to be very careful over here about the engagements he takes. He has gotten a lot of villagers down. Yes, it has come at the expense of a lot of military units. Should it matter, he's gonna be still stronger, right? But from this point onwards, the engagements need to be a lot cleaner from Sitaux against the cavalry archers from the Viper. If the yellow player gets enough CA over here, he's not going to be afraid of knights. Cavalier, rather. He's not going to be afraid of camels at all. He's going to be in a position to start pushing back, and we could see a repeat of what we saw in game number 1. Yeah, the Viper has been extremely resilient over here so far. Sitaux, you would expect him to be an even stronger lead over here, but the Viper's been able to minimize the damage he's taken so far from the blue player. Pushing coming in now for Sitaux. A lot of Cavalier on the way. He's got 22 right now. A lot of these are going down to the castles, but they are taking villages down before crumbling themselves. And they are keeping Viper's units on their toes. Full defensive, and now this DC is going down. A lot of the villages completely exposed. The Cavalier will go down to the Cavalry Archers indeed, especially as the Viper's got the heal advantage over here. Remember the 25% higher damage that the Tara units deal against enemy units when fighting from a higher elevation, but still, he was able to get a bunch of villagers down. He was able to lower the HP of the TC over here significantly and force the repairs, and this is going to be very expensive for the Viper to repair. On the left-hand side, we have another push coming in from Sitaux. This time around, it's going to be camels. That TC is not going down particularly soon, as the Viper does get enough time to bring the Cavalry Archers over to the left-hand side. He should be able to prevent the TC from going too low in HP, but Sitaux is not done. He's in 200 population, a lot of light cavalry queued up, a lot of knights still left to work with, and he's sending everything forward. He's throwing everything he's got at the Viper. Well, the Viper is doing a really good job of climbing in population himself as well. 159 right now, 160. But a lot of his economy is still not the most efficient though. The Viper's been able to survive over here, and the Acropolis has certainly helped quite a lot because of the elevation. But it shouldn't take too long until Sitaux starts going for the trebuchets and starts putting pressure. If he's able to get rid of the castle over here, or the castles on the left-hand side, that's going to put Sitaux in a much better position to keep on putting the pressure up, to keep on getting the raids on. The issue for Sitaux is the Viper is happy about every single arrow hitting from uphill. Yes, if he is able to take the castle down over here, he would be able to push the fight to the top of the Acropolis. While the castles are up over here, the Viper is always going to have the hill advantage. So that's a big issue for Sitaux, but he does have trebuchets already. 2, as a matter of fact. One of these is 4, I'm not really sure where the other one is. It's on the way. And silk armor is coming in for the Viper, so the Cavalry Archers will get extra armor. Cavalry Archers, light cavalry, or scout line units, and Steppe Lancers will be affected by this. So these units will be that more resilient for the Viper. There we go. He's got leather arch armor right now, so that's going to be +4, +5 already. If he goes for ring arch armor, that's going to be even more. +5, +7. Here's a trebuchet. He's gonna try and take the TC down. Yeah, this could be very effective as well, since the Viper is out of wood on the back. He is forced to collect wood from here, so the TC goes down. And then Sitaux is able to get the raids going. Once again, he's got Cavalier on the way, right? If he's able to get the raids on the way over here, the Viper might completely run out of wood. Thus, he wouldn't be able to keep on going for too many Cavalry Archers. He wouldn't be able to keep on going for too many Pac-Men even, skirmishers, right? So Sitaux is definitely in a good position over here. He just needs to get the push going, and he's got a lot of Cavaliers sitting idle here. And there we go. He's going to bring these forth, and he's got to go and strike the wall. I mean, there's so much exposed economy over there from the Viper. And here come the Cavalier guys. The Viper right now, he's got 21 Cavalry Archers. That's a strong enough army to two-shot Cavaliers. Actually, is it? Yeah, it is a strong enough army to two-shot Cavaliers. But it's not going to do anything against this amount of units, of course. And it's certainly not going to prevent all the villages from going down. As Sitaux spreading his Cavalier around, and the Viper is just getting a cemetery built for him against his will. Carnage ensues, and the Cavalier will get so much of the economy from the Viper down over here. Now to prompt the Viper to call the GG, and yes, we get game number 2 go in favor of Sitaux. Well, the Viper, on the other hand, is going to have one map left for his home map. Of course, just one for each player. We'll see what we get for game number 3, the tiebreaker. Right now, 2-2. Beautiful. Stronger KD for Sitaux. Not even close. 5-4. A little higher than that, even. Stronger economy for Sitaux, collecting 20,000 extra resources. While for society, we're going to see for the villager max count over here, Sitaux was in a very good position. And yeah, even APM overall was a little higher for the Viper, but it was, of course, we know that speed is just one factor, right? And Sitaux' decision making, Sitaux' strategy this game and execution were just flawless. Well played. And here we are. In game number 3, we find ourselves before a tied series, 1-1 between the Viper and Sitaux. For the Bull player, he is making the choice of playing with the Gujaras here. It is not bad, but I was expecting him to play with Turks. The Viper instead is going to be playing with Poles, an extremely strong civilization for arena-like maps. Now, of course, there is a difference between arena and 45 clear. There are a bunch of differences actually, but one of the things that is different between this version of 45 clearing and other versions of 45 clearing that we have seen in the past is that on other versions you would begin with your walls on the back still, right? And this version for TTL does not have any back walls. So you're technically open on the back. Now, that's not to say that the players would struggle too much to close this up, but they would need to spend some villager working time and some resources for going for the walls like this, right? If they do so, this is going to be pretty similar to arena. Not the same, because you can still strike from more than one area, but anyway, you get the point. For the civilization, Sitaux sit first. The Gujaras over here, they will begin with 2 additional berry bushes underneath the TC that will allow him to collect fruit from the get-go without relying on the herdables. And the reason he might want to do that is because he can garrison herdables inside mills, which will produce food passively. Besides that, the Gujaras also get 20, 30, and 40% higher bonus damage from mounted units against enemy units in the field of Castle and Imperial Ages. And for the team bonus, they're going to have 25% faster training camel and elephant type units. The Viper Civilization, on the other hand, will provide them with 0.33 units of gold per each unit of stone that he mines, in addition to access to Folwark. The Poles will, on top of that, also have villages that regenerate. There we go. Regenerate HP 5, 10, 15, 20 per minute, depending on the age. And for the team bonus, finally, the Poles will also have scouts. Scoutland units with 1 bonus damage against archer type units, so it can be really good, especially when you go for something like Lahidic Legacy. It's fantastic.
Namaste.
Here we are. Beautiful. Let's take a look at the map generation, starting with Mr. Sitaux as well. Bull player will get the main goal towards the south. It's got the main stone on the back. The secondary goals will be one on the very back, not really very back, it's going to be kind of side-ish instead, up in the north. And the other one is going to be outside the walls, as it's to be expected. Well, the secondary stone is going to be outside the walls over here as well. Very far away, actually, from the walls. A little bit more so than you would expect. Meanwhile, taking a look at the map generation for the Viper, on the other hand, what do we get for the SNEK? We'll see for the yellow player. The main gold forward. And this one is too far away from the walls to get spotted by a scout. And then the secondary goals are going to be on the right hand side, kind of stylish over here on the back once again. Pretty similar to Sitaux. And then the other one's going to be underneath the scoreboard over here on top or in front of the gate over there. You cannot see it, but it's there. For stone, we have the main stone up in the north, and the secondary stone is, of course, outside the walls. And I would say that I am liking the map generation from maybe Sitaux a little bit. To be honest, it's really, really close between both these players, so I don't think it matters too much. Oh, Sitaux sending villagers forward, though. Going up an 18 population, the Viper is not trying to play for a fast castle or anything over here. No, no, no. It's got the walls on the way, though. Do hills matter over here? I mean, they can. This is not flat. Like, oh, God. Oh, God. The Viper blocks himself! And as Sitaux is faster to the village, the scout camel is stronger, and the scout goes down. Well played from Sitaux. The Viper kind of blocked himself, unfortunately. Otherwise, he should have been able to save the scout. But yeah, the heals, they can matter. Like, if you get, let's say, the push going over here from Sitaux, he's got the archer range, right? And then if he breaks through over here, and I don't know, like, gets tower. I don't think it's going to go for this because there's nothing over here for him to deny, right? But if you got a tower over here, it will be affected by the heal advantage still, so it can make a difference, but I don't think it's going to be too game changing. At the very least, judging by how far the elevations are from the TCs, it's not going to make a difference at the very beginning. It might make a difference at later stages once the players start expanding around the map. Like, for instance, if at some point the Viper went for a TC around here. TC, come on. Dude, the annotations today are not working really well. TC, hello. Okay, there we are. If you were to go for a TC over here and, I don't know, Sitaux was able to get the castle up, right? Around here. That could be good for Sitaux. That kind of stuff. Yeah, the annotations are a lot better when they work well. I'll need to take a look at that after the stream. I'm not really sure why it's not. It's kind of. I mean, it's working. It's just very slow to trigger. I'm gonna need to take a look at that. Regardless, though. Tower comes out for Sitaux. Tower comes out for the Viper. Sitaux's getting the walls up in the north. In deleting the walls that he was going for earlier, he accidentally deleted this. If he doesn't realize about that, that could result in a tragic moment in the future for Sitaux, we'll see. And there's the real tower, yes. Now you see the Viper is getting the tower on the hill, so this will make it very difficult for Sitaux to keep on pushing if the Viper gets the tower up. Yeah, and he will. He will. We have already a blacksmith on the way, and Sitaux's got some archers over here, but without fletching, they don't have enough range to actually push the villager away from there. Importance of getting fletching. And the Viper's been able to defend himself really well. Interestingly enough, though, Sitaux is going for stone walls around the Viper space on the left-hand side. I honestly don't know what that's going to do for him. You know, one thing that I would like to see... Okay, yeah, there we go. If he does go for the stone walls around the right-hand side, he will effectively deny the secondary goals from the Viper. So this is much better, yes. If he does get both those walls up, then the Viper does not get access to this. Oh my lord, that is not good. He does not get access to this. He does not get access to this. He would only be able to go for this goal outside. And that one would be exposed, of course. So this could be good for Sitaux. However, the push over here is going to come at a price. You take a look at the idle TC time for Sitaux and it's significantly higher compared to the Viper. You take a look at the gather economy time for Sitaux and it's significantly lower than the Viper's. So the economy has been better for the yellow player, and if he's able to go up to the castle age first, then it might not matter that Sitaux getting the walls up over there and whatnot. All these handticks from the Frenchman could very easily fall apart the moment the Viper gets Siege Workshop and goes for one ram to better the walls down. Or is able to go for extra TCs, potentially protect the goal over here, right? Yeah, more like so. And he should be the first one to go out to the castle stage. Take a look at the resources. A lot of extra food. Sitaux does have a few extra food workers, plus the passive food income from the sheep. The Viper... Yeah, the Viper's getting very close himself to having enough food. He is transitioning a few extra villagers over to the gold as well, which is great. Beautiful castle age is on the way for Sitaux. Actually faster than the Viper. Well done. There we go. Sitaux going back with all his units. The Viper, he's got still. Some archers to work with himself, but it's not going to be doing much of anything, of course. And Sitaux seems like he's going to be the first one to start putting pressure, right? He's got a stable on the way. And the Viper, he is aware of the walls already. He knows that he's not going to get access to these secondary goals. At the very least, the one down the south. He doesn't know about the walls up in the north, but he should probably be expecting that. So, it's very likely that he's going to try and make a play for center control. Once he gets to the castle age, we're going to see a monastery. Probably can make a play for relics over here. And we could transition to a more arena-like game in the castle age. With the difference, of course, that Sitaux has been going for archers for a while. He's got Shrivamsha riders right now on the way. And he doesn't really have a monastery coming out. But the Viper. The Viper's going to be in the castle age right now. He's got Scale Bard and Armor on the way. And Knights coming in. No monastery coming in for the Viper either. Just a second TC. And the second TC for Sitaux as well. Same working count right now for both these players. Any chance of a castle drop from the Viper in Sitaux forward gold? That'd be actually really good. If let's take a look at the Viper's scouts and information. He is collecting stone quite heavily, so he'll have enough to go for a castle at some point. He knows about this goal, but he doesn't really know much about the inside of Sitau's base. If he knew about it, then the Viper will be able to go for one castle that he could make use of over here, right, to both these resources. But with the vision that he's got right now, just the one castle over here on the right hand side could still be good, as he will be getting access to. He will be securing this in any case, which I think is probably more valuable than the Naya resource. Like, it doesn't matter if he denies this, Sitaux will still have access to extra gold over here on the back and over here, right? So I think it's probably more important for the Viper to try and secure something for himself, rather. As conversion, red from Sitaux gets the monastery up. He'll start falling behind the village account though. The Viper does have 3 TCs. Sitaux is only on 2. What if Sitaux is able to secure the relics at the very least? That's going to give him a little bit of extra economy, which will offset for the villager deficit. He's gotta worry about Viper's own monks over here though. And the Viper, he doesn't really care about Sitaux' center presence. He will be the first one to collect relics. Well, actually, that's not true. Sitaux did get 1 already, but the Viper is going to be the one to collect the most, right? He's gonna bring 2 relics back home. The Viper is only on 1 right now. And he lost 1 monk over here. Sitaux. The Viper is looking pretty good. Sitaux can easily grab outside? Yes, he can. But inside, you still have more. You have 5 inside, 4 outside. Because Sitaux managed to get 1 relic from the center, he can go and collect all the relics outside and still be up to 5 versus 4. But if he can prevent the Viper from collecting the ones at the center, that means that he can extend his lead. So he's collecting a second one over here. That's already going to be good enough. Assuming that he does go for the outer relics as well. That's already going to be good enough for Sitaux to find himself on a 6-3 relic distribution. Here we are. Viper once again building a little bit of a bastion over here out of houses for himself. Should be able to get a castle up. We see some archers over there from Sitaux. Not enough to deny the castle though. Or is it? We have 5 archers. You know what? He doesn't have fletching, but that is a significant amount of archers still. Yeah, plus the monk, he does end up pushing the Viper away. Now, the question then becomes, is this castle going to be completely denied, or is it going to be only delayed? Well, the Viper goes for 1 mana. He should be able to push those archers away, for instance, and he could try and go finish building the castle once again. This one has already gone out to 52%, so if the Viper were to delete this one, he would only get back less than 50% of the stone. By the way, the Viper does manage to breach through the walls from Sitaux, and he will collect one of the relics from outside. So now Sitaux could potentially collect up to 3 relics from the outside, given he's got 2 very close to his, you see, to his base on the outside up on the right hand side, and then there's one over here closer to the Viper. We'll see if the blue player decides to go for that one down the south or not. And that's a lot of potential damage over here. We see still about 2 archers left, 3 archers left, so that's not a lot. And the Viper will be able to finish building the castle over here. There we go. And he's going up to the Imperial Age! Knights coming in from the Viper around the back of Sitau's base as well, getting some villager picks over here. You know what? This is what I was kind of afraid for Sitaux since earlier in the game. The push that he got going in the field age early on did not seem to me like it did enough damage to offset for all the working time that he lost, for all the villager time that he lost, and all the idle TC time that he got when trying to put pressure in the field age. And the Viper was able to take advantage of that. Even if the castle age came up a little bit earlier for Sitaux, the Viper was the one to better take advantage of it by going for the extra TCs, while Sitaux took a lot longer to get the extra TCs up. And even with 4 TCs over here, Sitaux still finds himself about 12 villagers, yeah, behind the Viper. And you know what? You know what? Sitaux does not want to keep on trying over here anymore, and he's gonna go and call the GG. The Viper was going to get to the Imperial Age very soon, and Sitaux realizes his push attempts from as early as the early Fuel Age were just insufficient. So this goes in favor of the Viper. That's going to be 2-1 in the end for the SNEK. As he takes a dab over here, Sitaux is going to struggle big time. Let's go back and take a look at the achievements one more time. For military, we have a stronger KD for the Viper, but it's going to be less than 1-1 for both these players. Both ended up losing more units than they were able to kill, and I would imagine this is probably because of Gaia. So I would say probably the KD was like 13-13, and then the Viper lost 1 additional unit over here. And 2, actually, that doesn't really make too much sense, so wait. The Viper, yeah, the Viper ended up losing 2 additional units to Gaia, that is, and Sitaux. Sitaux didn't. No, Sitaux didn't lose anything to Gaia, the Viper did. Clexerich! 9 months! Getting closer to the whole year with so much good content. Thanks for that. Thank you for the support. It's very much appreciated. And welcome back to the club. Hope you're having a good time. Hope everything's going well for you today. Thank you so much. For everything else, the Viper is looking much better as well. Economy, he managed to collect about 5,000 extra resources. Society, we're going to see a higher villager max count that favors the Viper as well quite a lot. And that's going to be about it, so let's go back.